Welcome. I'm Evelyn Rudy.
And I'm Paul Shackman.
And this is Santa Monica on Stage, where we talk about the people and venues that make the city of Santa Monica the cultural destination for the performing arts.
We've got quite a show lined up today. First, we'll check in with our old friends and neighbors at Highways Performance Space to see what new projects they have cooking.
And I hope you're ready to think on your feet, Paul, because we're going to talk comedy, improv, and stand-up with MI's West Side Comedy Theater.
Let's get going on another Santa Monica on Stage.
Highways Performance Space is known for their cutting-edge work and commitment to the First Amendment in performance. They are bold and experimental and always a fresh voice in our community. Joining us today is our old friend, artistic director Leo Garcia. Hello, Leo Garcia. How are you?
Hello, Evelyn. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
You are, I think, the only guest who has been with us on every single season. You've been here longer than I have.
I've been around a while, yeah.
I'm always torn between wanting to ask you about highways and what's going on and the festivals and the First Amendment, and asking you about you and how you got to be where you are today. So I'm going to start with you today. How did you get to be artistic director of Highways, and how did you get involved with First Amendment work and all of that?
Well, I started at Highways in 2003, so that's been a while, 12 years.
Right.
And I had to jump through a lot of hoops to get that job. Actually, I walked into that space in 1992, and that was the year of the riots, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And I live in Santa Monica, and there was nowhere to go, and I was about to go to Europe, but I was still in town. I was working with Irene Fornes, a great American playwright, and I was in a play of hers. But I had a Saturday night to do nothing, and besides watching the riots go on, which was enough to do, Highways was open, and I just happened to learn about it in that weekend, and I walked from my home to that space, and Annie Sprinkle was performing that night. And it was probably about 3 or 4 people in the house, but the show went on, and so I was really excited to be in a space that was like Highways. It reminded me of a New York City space where I had moved from to live in LA, and I was attracted to it because it was a black box, because it had Annie Sprinkle, in it, and she was doing this very original, edgy work that I hadn't seen in Los Angeles, because the stage in Los Angeles it's great. I mean, Los Angeles stage is fantastic, but this was particular. It was performance art, and I didn't have much experience with performance art. My tradition, my theaters are what I do is traditional theater. That's where I come from originally. So I was excited to be there. So when I came back, I was working with a group of people who were involved in the psychological world, where they were sort of coming together as queer theorists around identity. And Tim Miller, who was the artistic director of Highways, his partner was part of that group, Doug Sadownik, who now leads a program, psychology program in Los Angeles at one of the universities. But he was a writer and a performer as well. So he invited me to propose to Highways a workshop. So I started teaching there. And then a position came open. It was a fiscal manager, which I know nothing about. I understand income in, expense out. Those are the basics. Right. But most people who are running organizations don't understand that. You have to make a certain amount of money to pay the bills. So I took that job on, and I sort of learned as we went, and no one was making any money there. I mean, I think I made $90 a week, managing Highways fiscally. And eventually, I left for a couple of years because I got a couple of NEA grants because I was developing my own works as a playwright. And when Danielle Brazel, who was the artistic director after Tim Miller, moved on, the position for artistic director was open, and so I applied. And I went back to about, 4 or 5 meetings, met with the board, and eventually they hired me.
I'm glad they did.
Yeah, and I've been there since 2003. So,
Done some fabulous work.
oh, thank you.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
What productions do you have on the horizon right now?
Well, we just, it's May is our anniversary month, so we're celebrating our 26th year right now. So we've just moved into our 27th year. And this coming weekend, in late May, we're presenting a Latino New Works series. It's called 4x4. So we invite 4 artists to present 4 new works, original works. We're presenting music. We have an artist who's creating music with timbales, and he deals with kind of classical structure, but then he experiments with new form, new music. So that's kind of exciting. A performance artist, a Cal Arts performance artist, who is really a visual artist, but he's wanting to experiment and bring it onto a stage or in front of an audience. So he's dealing with identity and body politics. So he's going to be unclothing and using measuring sticks and tapes to tape and measure himself, and there's a narrative that goes along with that. And we're also doing dance and performance theater. We have a woman, Monica Palacios, who is a performance artist who's been around for about 20, 25 years. She was one of the original members of Culture Clash. Do you know that comedy group? Yeah.
Of course.
So she's a Venice resident, and so she's going to be performing a new work. So that's our very next thing. We have a gallery opening by an artist who is he's a visual artist. He's a street artist, and he has a show called One in our gallery. So that's this Saturday. But if you want to know, we present 50 weeks out of the year. So go to our website, highwaysperformance.org, and every weekend we'll have something for you. It'll be
You have
different.
festivals too, don't
We
you?
have
throughout
festivals.
the
Well,
year?
this series is a festival. It's our Latino New Works.
You do that every
festival.
year?
Yeah, we do it every year. We also have been doing we really want to work with the community of Santa Monica. One of my interests has always been to bring in the Latino community into our space because they're 1 block away from us, actually. We're in their neighborhood. So we've been raising money and producing Day of the Dead events for the last 12 years. And that's been fantastic just to have our community come. Those are usually free events. So I have to raise a little bit of money to cover the costs for that. We have dance festivals, new works, performance series, new music. Really, there's just so many artists in our community, and they find their way. I mean, I inherited a great space, and so many people have worked there that they come to the door and they say, "Would you like to see my work?" And I say, "Sure, it's my job." So
I was going to ask you how people get involved, but that is how people get involved, just by coming to you and offering.
right, they find us on online, and they'll email me, and then we start the conversation usually through email. They'll see a performance, and at intermission or after the show, they'll say, "How do I get a show here?" And I said, "Let's talk about it." I go and see works, of course. Many of the performance artists that we've worked for will recommend new artists. There are mentors who send their mentees to us. We have series where we invite mentors to bring new artists to our space. We invite individual artists to curate events. So we really want to challenge the artist also to take a look at their field and curate their own work in our space. So there are many ways to get their work up in the space.
How about your work?
My work?
Do you do your work there also?
I do. The funny thing is, it's a grueling job running a performance space. You have to raise money. I mean, I raise $1,000 every day to keep those doors open. It's really just that's a small to moderate sized space, and that's a small to moderate sized budget. So it's grueling. So in order for me to survive, coming out of being an artist, or I think of this sort of as an art project. It's the longest durational piece that's ever been held. It's in its 12th year.
That's a wonderful way of looking at it.
I'm really proud that, I am participating in this durational work. And what it is, a collaboration with all these artists. And together we put up these ongoing works. So it's, when I'm done, I'm going to present that series as a durational piece. So
Awesome. That is awesome. Thank you, Leo. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see that presentational piece of yours, that maybe 25-year work, right?
Well, yeah, it's just a concept. There won't be anything to see. It'll just be something to think about. Because it'll all be
important.
behind us. Yeah. Okay.
Here's to another great season at Highways.
All right. Thank you so much.
Stay tuned. We're checking in with MI West Side Comedy Theater next.
At the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Monica, we build long-lasting relationships with our kids.
Love. Friendships.
Support. Trust.
Learning.
I know. Fun.
All that and a lot more.
We're not just a club. We're family.
Great futures start here.
They own comedy west of the 405. Well, it's time to check in with MI's West Side Comedy Theater to see why they have those bragging rights. We're joined by Director of Marketing and Performer Mike Battet, and thank you for coming by.
Thank you very much for having me. It's exciting.
First thing I want to ask you about, because everyone's been talking about it here, epic rap battles of history.
That's right.
Yes, please tell me about that.
That's a show that I write on and co-direct, and was actually created by one of the owners of the theater, Lloyd Alquist, aka EpicLLoyd. And it came out of a show at the theater called Check 1 2, where they would get suggestions of famous people from history and then improvise a rap battle against each other. And it turned out to be so fun. They said, let's make this into a YouTube video. And it blew up, and it was huge, and they've been just doing huge numbers since then. We have over 1 billion hits combined.
Wow. Well, how many have you done?
I came in halfway through season 2, and we're just finishing up season 3 now. We do about 12 a season.
Wow.
Oh, what are some of the famous couples?
Let's see. Probably our most famous one is Hitler versus Darth Vader. During the election, we did Obama-Romney, and that was really popular. But things like that, yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of fun.
It's great.
Yeah.
So where did comedy enter your life?
Well, I kind of remember that very specifically, actually. I was about 7 years old, and I went and saw Ghostbusters at the drive-in with my parents, and I just remember being blown away by Bill Murray specifically, but the whole thing, and I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew I want to do that. Whatever that is, that's what I want.
Drive-in.
Drive-in, yeah.
Did you start out right away, classes or stand-up or class clown? Or?
I did a lot of stand-up on the back of the bus. I would redo SNL routines that I saw, and until I got in trouble and was told that I can't stand up at the back of the bus and do stand-up anymore. But that's how I started.
And how'd you get out here?
So I went to, I grew up in Western New York, went to a college specifically because they had an improv group. That's the only reason I went to that college.
Wow. What college was that?
Oswego State.
All right.
And then after that, I moved straight to Chicago to continue my improv training in the mecca of improv. And through there, and in Chicago, I met the guys from Mission Improbable, who were just starting to tour and do short-form improv shows at colleges. And I got hired to perform with them and travel the whole country at colleges and do shows. and then a lot of them started moving out here, and then eventually I followed and moved out here as well. And they're the guys now that own the theater. That's why it's MI's West Side Comedy Theater, Mission Improbable's West Side Comedy Theater.
And how does it work? I know you have performances all the time.
We do.
And classes as well?
Yep, we have shows 7 nights a week, and we have improv and stand-up classes at the theater.
And do those, the people in the classes sometimes end up being performers or part of your company?
Almost always. It's really great. So we, once you reach a certain level on the improv side, you can audition to be on our house teams. So we have house improv shows every Monday, and those are free nights too. So they're putting on awesome shows for free every Monday. And then at the end of the stand-up class, you get a performance, and then you can try and get on more shows. And you see a lot of the performers start at the open mic and work their way up and then get on shows at the theater.
Wow. Wow. What kind of, like when you teach improv, what are, I've never studied improv, but I know that there are you talk about short form, you talk about long form. What are those?
So the difference is short form improv is kind of like the show Whose Line Is It Anyway, where you get a lot of suggestions and you do a bunch of little game scenes. Long form improv is when you get one suggestion and put on about a half hour or 45-minute play, just based on one word or something like that.
Wow.
And a lot of people think that it's scripted sometimes because it's so great, but it really is just using that improv yes and mentality of listening to what you're saying, yesing it, anding it, adding a little bit more, one brick at a time, so it feels very natural and everything's coming from an honest place, and then you just grow the whole scene together. And that's what I love about improv, is working with other people. And
that is the only rule, though, right? Yes, and.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
You have to take the suggestion and build upon that.
That's right. Yep. And 7 brains make something way more interesting than just one, which is the best part.
Wow, that seems incredibly intimidating.
Well, yeah, it can be at first, and then after a while, you start to get very comfortable with it. And me and the guys who run the theater, we do a show every Thursday at 10 called The Grind, and we've been performing together for almost 10 years now.
How many are in the group?
There are 9 of us total.
Wow.
And yeah, we just know each other so well, we can just hop on each other, and it's great.
I know I came across once a handout that you guys give to your students, which I thought was really awesome. It's very much like what we do at the Santa Monica Playhouse also. It was all about respect and appreciation, and I thought it's not just like be funny, but there was so much humanness about it.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of improv, is just really respecting and appreciating the people that you work with. The second that I think, oh, that idea is dumb, the whole thing falls apart.
Yes.
I gotta love every idea, and some people have a hard time with that. And when they get good at it, I think they're better people overall, which is kind of nice. And that's why we do a lot of corporate training too, to help people in business respect each other's ideas and personalities and grow together.
How did the corporate training come about?
Well, we were doing the short form show all over, and then we started doing that for corporate shows, and then they said, will you teach us some of this stuff and help us? I think being able to work on your feet in a boardroom and do that would be helpful to us. So we now have a whole business arm of our company that does that. Yeah.
That's amazing that somebody could see how beneficial that would be.
Yeah.
Usually they would be like,
right, yeah.
Well, more and more I think people are recognizing that and bringing in a lot of improv training to their businesses.
Wow.
and you're the marketing director also.
I am. I love being able to market something that I already love. It feels so easy and fun just to talk about this great thing that's been so great for me and so many people. So I run all the social media feeds and help the comics talk about their shows in a way that gets out there too. There's a lot of comedy shows to see in LA. So helping them say why we should come to MI.
I imagine that with the epic rap battles of history, that the online following has probably helped a lot with the social, the marketing that you have to do.
It does.
Social
it
media
helps a lot.
say.
When EpicLLoyd tweets, "I'm going to do the show tonight," there's a huge slew of young children all retweeting and blasting out.
EpicLLoyd.
EpicLLoyd, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a daughter.
I do, a 2.5-year-old daughter.
Is she funny too? Has she inherited it from you?
I think, well, me and my wife, who's also very funny, but I think she might be funnier than me. She wakes up every morning, and this sounds like I'm lying because it's so cute. She wakes up and she goes, "Oh, it's morning, you guys!" And it's just the funniest, cutest thing in the world. Right? Yeah.
And you never have that thought, no, I don't like this idea.
Yeah, right, that's right.
Yeah.
Everything she does is, I'm a yes.
That's fantastic.
So she already knows the yes and.
Yes, she does. Yep, she's good at it.
Do you have programs for kids at the?
We do, actually. We work with the Young Actors Project out of Malibu. And they have a great program, and they do summer intensives at our theater where they have a program for young kids and then teens as well. And at the end, they do a show with some of our guys from Mission Improbable all working together. And it's a really, really fun show every time.
Oh, that's really awesome. I think it's so wonderful for people who are learning to be able to work with the professionals who already know it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like that's how I got good, is working with people better than me. So.
It kind of keeps things in check. I mean, I think competitiveness gets in the way when you have to look at someone and say, no, I'm taking that. I love that. I like that. Let's build on that.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. That's great. Well, Mike, thank you so much. Really, this was great. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. It's fun.
I appreciate it. Stick around because we couldn't let Mike get away without showing off some of his skills. So we're going to be right back.
The Santa Monica Museum of Art. Take a closer look.
Well, we've been talking about it, so now let's see some improv in action. Please welcome back Mike Bettet, and joining him is Byron Kennerly.
All right, we're going to play a game that we play in our Mission Improbable show every Friday and Saturday at 10 in the theater. This is called Moving Bodies, so we're going to need Paul and Evelyn to come out and help us here. For this game, Byron and I are going to be action figures, which means we cannot move our bodies at all. All we can move is our mouths. So if you want us to wave, you would... Great. Yeah, that's the second part.
I got it.
And then if you want me to walk forward, just tap the back of my knee, and I will take a step. And then the front of my knee, if you want me to walk back, feel free to move and touch almost anywhere. Almost anywhere. Great. So to get this started, we need a dangerous situation from the crew, if we could.
Earthquake.
An earthquake is the first one I heard.
Great.
So this is Moving Bodies with the suggestion earthquake.
All right.
Oh my God! You feel that?
I'm awake. Oh, the shaking! The shaking!
I'm not shaking as much as you are, but
You're probably
just it's localized under my right leg.
You're probably not as close to the fault line as I am.
Oh God! I gotta run under the door. Oh!
Okay, we're running.
Things are falling on me.
Why aren't you coming with
I'm
me?
coming. I'm coming. Get under the door.
Okay, hold me. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Come here.
Thank you.
Bring it in.
Okay.
Bring it in.
Okay.
Bring it in.
Okay.
All right. Okay. It's gonna be okay.
Thank you.
All right. We're gonna get through this.
Thank you. I'll calm you, okay?
thank you.
It's okay. It's okay. There, your jaw, there's so much tension. Are you scared?
I'm relaxed now.
Oh my God, no, I'm so sorry.
I just realized.
Yes, what? What?
I just don't want anything ever to happen to you.
It won't, okay?
You're
Okay.
more dear to me than I realized.
Yeah.
Wait, what are you doing?
You have to die now.
No! But I love you!
I love you too. I will never let an earthquake kill you, so I am.
One of us will go. What are we doing?
I don't know, but
We're letting this earthquake tear us apart!
Hey.
What?
I love you still, okay?
Bring it in.
Okay.
One more time.
Wait,
No choking this
Last time we did this, we choked each other almost to death.
Okay. Holding feels much better.
Aftershock!
Thank you very much.
Great job.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done.
Well done.
Great work.
That was a little shaky.
That was fun.
Care packages give hope while you're away fighting battles. But what happens when battles follow you home? JVS Veterans First helps returning soldiers transition to civilian life with services such as peer support, career counseling, and job training.
JVS Veterans First can help. Own your honor.
Visit jvsla.org for more information.
Oh, that was fun. Improving, moving those little people around. You know, Mike said something really interesting, though, the yes and.
Yes.
And how he said it not only helps people like in corporations and in theater and in acting and creating, but as people in general.
Yes, and you're right. It's pretty amazing. But watching them do that, that looks so dangerous. That's scary to me. I applaud them.
Oh, I applaud anybody who can do something without a script.
Yeah.
I think it is really scary. We use improv at the theater for classes, for working out things, but not for performing in front of somebody else.
No, the only time I do it is when telemarketers call, and then it works.
So, well, there you go. Or when you want to get out of going on a date or something like that, then all of a sudden you're really good.
You've been watching me.
But, you know, also I was really, I'm always so impressed with Highways and with the different works that Leo brings and the importance of arts in our community and how they are entertainment, they're enlightening, they're enriching, and they keep our societies going.
And he was really very kind to drive all the way over here and talk to us today. We really appreciate that.
Half a block?
Yeah, I don't even think it was that.
Just across the alley.
Yeah, Leo's great.
He is great. And it's been wonderful. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And you're going to keep me on my toes because you are so funny. He's a punster.
Oh,
scary,
this is fun.
scary.
This is fun.
It is fun.
I've enjoyed this.
And I have too. And that wraps things up on another episode of Santa Monica on Stage.
And we look forward to seeing you next time as we introduce you to more local artists that make Santa Monica an incredible arts destination. See you next time.